It's not like you have a bad life. It's not like you are the victim. It's not like everything bad is happening to you. You just care too much. Hi everyone, welcome to this week's video. I am beyond happy that you are here because today I'm going to be giving you the most important lesson that I have learned in the past 1 month. And if I'd known this for the past 3 years, damn it, 13 years, my life would have been completely different. In this video, on this day, on this Sunday, we are going to be starting fresh and we are going to be unbothered. This video is literally a guide from how you can go to being annoyed at everything, thinking that everything happens to me and I have such a bad life. Everything that happens to me is so bad. People don't care about me. I cannot do this anymore because people do XYZ. People said XYZ, to being so unbothered that we don't pick up the small things anymore. In this video, I'm going to be talking about what it means to be unbothered, what are the small things that you can do physically and mentally to change yourself, how you can use it in school, in your relationship with your family, and so on. All these little tricks will guide you so that at the end of the video, you're gonna stop this video and you're gonna think, you know what? I am unbothered, because you have to be unbothered to a certain extent to be happy. Because I'm sorry to tell you this, but you cannot control every single thing in your life. First things first, what does it mean to be unbothered? Before you jump into this,
but I don't want to be unbothered because I'm a lover person and I care about people and I cannot just, be okay with everything.
Stop right there. Stop right there. Because unbothered doesn't mean that you don't care. I will show you 2 examples. Unbothered basically means that you don't make a fuss about small things. If something happens, you don't start to think that they didn't text me because I'm a bad person. They didn't text me because I deserve not to be texted. I lost this job because I'm stupid. I lost this job because I just don't deserve to have this job. I will always be unemployed. My family doesn't like me anymore because they don't call me anymore. They just nobody cares. Nothing is happening. I have such a bad life. You have to be unbothered. Not caring means I'm not gonna go apply for jobs because I don't care. I'm not gonna be better for my relationship because I don't care. Not caring is bad. Being unbothered is good. Unbothered doesn't mean that you go from this lover person that cares about everyone and wants the best for everyone to basically not giving a shit. It means you find a balance. Because when you said that you don't want to be unbothered because, yeah, but what if then people will walk all over me? This is the balance. As I told you at the end of the video, I will bring you some examples, but I want to show you already in this definition how you can realize what's the difference. For example, somebody is not texting you for 3 hours. Your current self is probably going to think, okay, they don't text me because I'm not worthy of a text, or they prioritize other things, or they don't want to talk to me. This is where you have to be unbothered because it's 3 hours. It's normal, it's normal that they don't text you for 3 hours, especially if they are at work, especially if they are with friends, especially if they are busy. This is where you become unbothered. How you can become unbothered will come in the later chapters. Somebody doesn't text you for 10 hours. Then that's something where you should say something. But again, it's up to you. For example, for me, 3 hours is okay. 10 hours is not okay. For me, 10 hours is something where you probably had a lunch break where you could have texted me for 5 seconds. Okay, I'm not talking about big paragraphs, just that I'm okay, I'm having lunch, whatever. 10 hours, you probably had 1 or 2 bathroom breaks where you could have sent me a message about how your day is going. 3 hours, I have to be unbothered because it's healthy for people not to text you for 3 hours, especially if they're doing something, and most of the people are always doing something. If somebody doesn't text you for 10 hours, for example, for me, that's already crossing a line. For other people, it can be 8 hours, 5 hours. But I'm just saying, sometimes you have to find the line between, is this bothering me? And I just have to like, it's 3 hours, they are at work. Or is it something where, okay, it's my values? Because how can you go 10 hours texting everyone else but me? That's an issue. This is what it means to be unbothered versus not caring. Not caring is cold-hearted. It's not healthy. You're not a machine that, oh, they don't text me, I'm fine. No, you shouldn't be fine. But you also have to say like, okay, they didn't text me for 5 minutes. So what? It's fine. 3 hours is also fine. 4 hours, whatever you know. But you have to realize that 3 hours, 4 hours is something that you have to be okay with, because it's normal, it's healthy. If it's not healthy, then yeah, you should probably find somebody that can text you back literally every 5 minutes. But if you want to be with someone that is also wanting to build a future for themselves, someone that cares about other things than just a relationship, then this is where you become unbothered. But it doesn't mean, again, this is where I come from, because I am also a person that is, I want attention, I want love, I want reassurance from friends, family, work, and so on. But I also have to understand that if you don't text me for 10 hours, that bothers me, okay? Because it's been 10 hours. You probably at least had one break. But if it's 3 hours, come on. I worked in a place where I only had a 30-minute break during the day from 12 to 12:30. So if I start working at 8, it's going to be 4 hours. If I start working at 10, it's going to be 2 hours. But I only had break at that time. But it's not like I didn't text you for 10 hours. Do you get me? Second, and the hardest. So, how do you become unbothered? The first step is when something happens, okay, you don't immediately react. And this is so hard. Oh my gosh. I don't even know how to like explain it, but I'm going to try my best. So what I try to do is that when something triggers me, I try to stop and like realize that, okay, this is triggering me. And the thing is that most of the fights at your work, most of the overthinking in your head happens in the first 30 seconds of this reaction. You, for example, see that your boss promised you that he would send you some paper and he still didn't, and it's been 3 hours. And you see his message like, I'm sorry, I forgot to send you the paper. I'm going to send it in like a couple of minutes. And 10 minutes passed. And then you think to yourself like, oh my gosh, he doesn't care about me. Oh my gosh, I have done something wrong. And then you start ruminating. In those 30 seconds, I have to tell you, so many thoughts come into your head and you think to yourself all the worst scenarios that could happen. This is when you have to pause and think, okay, this is triggering me because he said it's going to be a couple of minutes, but he already promised me this morning and it has been already 3 hours. And then he said, I'm sorry that I forgot. So he acknowledged it, but then he said it's going to be a couple of minutes and he still hasn't sent it because it has been 10 minutes already. What is happening? This is where you pause. This is where you pause and think to yourself, okay, I'm going to ask myself 2 questions. Will this matter in the next few days? If, for example, we're talking about work, it's likely that it can happen, for example, tomorrow. Maybe your boss wants you to do, this paper by tomorrow and it's already 1 p.m. and he still hasn't sent you. Of course, I would also be a bit stressed because you expect me to do it by tomorrow, but you cannot even send me the material. Like, what do you mean? How am I supposed to do that? I also work only 8 hours a day. If it matters in 3 days or 5 days or 5 years, I live by this 5-minute, 5-year rule. If it doesn't matter in 5 years, I shouldn't even be thinking about it for 5 minutes. But let's go with 3 days now. Okay, if it matters in 3 days, you can send him a nice message like, hey, I don't mean to bother you, but because this paper is due tomorrow, I would really need you to send it to me today, like right now, so I can already start working on it now. That's it. And if it doesn't matter, it's fine if he sends it tomorrow because the paper is due end of the month. Why does it matter if he sends it now or tomorrow? Really? Like, why does it matter if he sends it now or tomorrow? If it's due in 2 weeks, it doesn't matter. And the second thing that I want you to realize in this pause is, are you reacting to the certain situation that's happening, or are you reacting to some other stress. How I can say this normally, how I can phrase this is, for example, you are having problems in your relationship and this thing happens at work. So you're already agitated because of the things that are happening at home. So obviously you are a bit more annoyed at everything, right? This is so normal and human because it's very hard to separate. Okay, I'm home, I'm worried about my relationship, I go to work, I am not bringing my relationship issues, especially if something crazy is going on. This is why you have to separate. Look, if your boss has done this every single day, that he promises something and he doesn't do that, you're probably reacting to him. But in general, if he's a good boss and it's just today that he's like probably super busy and he doesn't have time to send you this paper, then really you're reacting to the external circumstances, which is problems at home, your own personal things, which deflect on your boss, which is not a good thing. So if you realize that you're reacting to your boss because he's done this every single day, then I want you to talk to someone about this. Okay, either to him, the message that I told you, or talk to someone else like, look, I'm not happy with how my boss is treating me. He's expecting me to do everything on deadline, but he doesn't really provide the stuff so I can do the stuff on a deadline. And then you will realize that, okay, I need to react to my boss. If you realize that you're reacting because you're already not like okay in your head, and I'm not meaning like you have some illness, but like you're not in general in a good state, then I want you to pause, take a break, go for a coffee before you say anything, go for a walk outside, like 10 minutes, because then you will be able to separate that, okay, I shouldn't be mad at my boss because it's not him that I have a problem with, it's myself. And of course, it's way easier to blame your boss than yourself. But this is why this pause is insanely important, because you realize that, is it really this serious that I have to worry about it? If yes, go on and take action. If it's not that serious, let it go. And the second thing is that, is it something that is a pattern that I have an issue with, which I'm going to be talking about in the next point? Or is it something that I have with other people? You know, it can be your gym journey is not going well, so you're agitated, you're hungry. Even that one, I know so many people that if we have a meeting at 11:30, they are like chop 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 because they are so hungry, and then they just have this pa. And if I have the meeting with the same person at 1 p.m., they are like super chill because they just had lunch. It's normal. But if you want to be emotionally intelligent and unbothered, you have to be able to separate. Is it something that I have an issue with you? Or is it something that I have an issue with something else? And because now you're causing me a little bit of annoyance, I'm going to pretend like you're the worst boss because you don't send me the paper. But any other day, he's such a cool boss. So you cannot tell him that he's a bad boss because he did one thing. The third one is something that I had to understand for a long time, and it's really hard. It's basically that you have expectations for other people, right? For your boss. Let's say with the boss example, you have expectations. He's my boss. He's responsible for giving me tasks. So I am his priority. This is what I also thought for a long time when I had a mentor, a boss, a leader that, you know, their only job is to help me grow. And then I realized to some extent it is true. Your job is to help me grow, because if you're my manager and I have an issue with something, or if I really want to grow in a certain direction, you are at a higher level, you can help me. But it doesn't mean that everything has to be perfect. Life is not about every single day everything is perfect. Life is about mistakes. Life is about learning how to navigate with those mistakes. You cannot expect everyone to always be available for you, and these small imperfections is what makes life perfect. So how would you use this in your boss's example? For example, you expect this paper from your boss and the deadline is tomorrow. You think to yourself that, okay, my boss told me this morning, 8 a.m., that he's going to send me the paper. At 11 a.m., he sent me a message, I'm sorry, I forgot this. I'm going to send it to you in a couple of minutes. And now it's been 30 minutes and he still hasn't sent it. So in your eyes, you're thinking, what is he doing? Why is he not sending me this paper? But you don't know that maybe he received some bad news in the morning about his family, and he's just not in his head. And I agree with you. If I were in his shoes, I would still probably send you a message like, look, I'm not feeling good today. I'm sorry about being sloppy, whatever. Like, you can still communicate that, but that's just me. Not everyone is going to be like me. You cannot control what he does. You cannot control that he sends you the paper. Even if you send him a message every single minute, if he doesn't send you the paper, he doesn't send you the paper. Would you like to tell him that you cannot work because you don't have the paper? You can still send a message. Look, I understand you're busy, but I really need this paper like right now. I really need to work on it. Otherwise, I won't be able to provide this for the deadline. Or are you like me and you have this perfectionism where you say that I have to have a perfect relationship with my boss, which means I have to be his priority. I have to have a perfect relationship with my partner, which means he always have to be with me or she always have to spend time with me. You have to be okay with imperfections. And this is why if you're a perfectionist like me, it's going to be insanely hard for you, because I just cannot be okay with imperfections. Like, I need to work on this, but this is so important that it's okay for people to make mistakes. It doesn't mean that your boss doesn't care about you. It doesn't mean that he's neglecting you. It doesn't mean that he's literally replying to everyone else but you. Sometimes I imagine people, like, for example, when I send my boss something and they didn't reply, I was like, they are probably reading their Teams messages, and when they reach me, they just don't reply, and then they reply to the next person. That's probably not how it works. Stop thinking those things. Stop imagining those things. Stop visualizing these things, because would you do that? Would you literally answer to everyone but one person? At the workplace, you cannot have favorites. You cannot simply reply to everyone but one person, because then you're unprofessional. So stop imagining things, because sometimes it's okay to be imperfect. If your boss ignores you for 10 days and the paper is due in 11 days, then it's something where you have to speak up. That's not being unbothered. This is why I'm trying so hard to amplify the difference, is that if somebody doesn't reply to you for a short amount of time and it's not urgent, it's fine. But if they don't reply to you and it's urgent, or it's been 10 days, that's not something where I'm unbothered, I don't care, because then you are literally letting people walk over you. The next one is my favorite. This is what I already mentioned at the beginning of the video, is that you have to realize that when you get triggered, is it a pattern or a moment? If it's a moment, you're unbothered. Okay, which means, for example, your boss is replying to you every single day quite fast. This one day he doesn't. This is a moment. Okay, let the dude breathe. If he doesn't reply to you every single day and you have to chase him, you have to beg him, you have to schedule a call with him, like an urgent call, and he's only having time for you in like 4 months, that's a pattern, and that's where you cannot be unbothered anymore, because that's something where you have to say like, look, it's been going on for weeks. I cannot do this anymore, because this is crossing my boundaries, because this is something I'm not okay with, because this is something that is just bothering me. It's fully normal to have things that bother you, because you're human, okay? But if it's a moment and he forgot something, or he didn't text you enough, or she forgot to update you, it's normal, because people can make mistakes. And as I said, imperfections sometimes part of life. You know, you also make mistakes. I'm sorry, I'm pretty sure you also make mistakes. So if your boss doesn't send you the paper and it's not urgent and it's just a spur of a moment, so it happened once, max twice, it's fine. If it happens every single day and it is a pattern and you realize that I'm actually not okay with his behavior, that's when you're going to speak up. So in this scenario, unbothered means that you ignore small isolated things. He didn't reply, fine. It's fine. It's not like he left me undelivered for 10 days. If it's a pattern, that's when you're gonna start speaking calmly. Hey, my boss is like really not helping me, and he always expects me to do everything on the deadline, but sometimes he doesn't provide the material for it, and I just don't know what to do anymore, because I'm pretty sure he's busy, but at the same time, I cannot work without him giving me access. Somebody will help you, but you have to realize, are you reacting to one small thing, or are you reacting to basically an entire pattern? If it's one small thing, stay unbothered. People can have bad days. If it's a pattern that has been going on for weeks, speak up, take action, but stay calm. The next thing is that when people make mistakes, for example, your boss doesn't send this to you, you immediately start going into this, I'm not worthy of his time, he's spending time with everyone else but me, he thinks that I'm not even worthy of this task, he doesn't care about me. You have to work on your self-confidence, okay? Because not everything is about you. I know you're the main character of your life, and I know that you think that everyone cares about you, but you're the only person that actually cares about you. Not everyone lives their lives around you, and that's normal and that's okay. So when your boss doesn't send you a message, it's not because you're not worthy of that message. It's because he's busy. It's because he has something going on. It's because he genuinely forgot it and he just needs a reminder. It's because he got a new urgent task in the morning that he has to prioritize. I know, okay, listen to me. I know how hard it is to immediately realize this and not go into this, is my boss. What else can he do than help me grow in my career, help me learn this new task, help me contribute to the company? I know, but it's not that deep. And this is why if you have a certain amount of self-confidence, then you will realize that it's not about you. It's not like he doesn't text you because he doesn't want to. It's not like he forgot you because you don't matter. It's because he's a manager who has probably a million things on his own. And probably he thinks that this task is not that important, because I'm also sure that if the task was really important, he would send you that file. So I really want you to take a deep breath and just realize that him not responding to you is not going to measure your worth. Because imagine if he doesn't reply to you, why would you be nothing? Why? What? Who is he? You're the only person that will determine your own worth. If I say that I'm worth 10 out of 10, for example, doesn't matter what happens, I'm a 10 out of 10. If you say you're 1 out of 10, of course, if something happens, you're going to say, oh, they don't reply to me because I'm not worthy of a message. But if I think to myself that I'm 10 out of 10, they don't reply to me because they're busy. It says more about them than about you. But it's not necessarily a bad thing that it says about them. It's just, yeah, they are different. They have different things to do. So really try to work on your self-confidence, because you're not a victim. It's not always about you. It's not about they didn't reply because I'm not worthy. I didn't get the job because I'm stupid. I didn't get the house because I'm poor. No, it's not always about you, and you have to be secure with yourself to realize this. The next tip is very important also. It's about not going into extremes. For example, a lot of people try to do this. Okay, he didn't text me for 3 hours, for example, my boss. So when he sends me a message, I'm just not gonna text him back, or I'm not gonna, like give him the same energy. It's not good. Okay, you cannot go into the extreme, because you don't know what's happening in their lives, especially if it's a spur of a moment. You cannot. If it's a pattern and he never texts you back, I understand that you would also want to be like, you know what? If he doesn't care, why should I? I understand. But if it's a pattern, speak up about it, because there is probably something underlying that you don't know about. If it's a moment, then don't punish them. And this is where I would also talk about, like we don't go from being so involved in other people, like, okay, he's not texting me, why not? What's happening? I cannot work, I cannot live if my partner is not texting me for 3 hours. But we don't go from this to, I don't want to talk to you literally the whole day. We don't go into that one, okay? We go into the middle ground, because it's not either we talk every day, the whole day. Either if I send you a message, do you reply to me immediately? Or if you reply to me, I'm never replying to you ever again, because you also took 1 day to reply. If it's a pattern, yes, talk about it. Because if your boss doesn't talk to you at all, but when he needs something from you, he's immediately expecting you to jump, I understand that can be a bit tiring. But on the other hand, you cannot match somebody's toxic behavior. For example, if you're talking to someone in talking stage and they take days to answer, how is that not validating your boundaries? Someone that you like can go days without talking to you, and he or she's also supposedly like you. That's something that I wouldn't just let it go. But if he doesn't text you for 3 hours because he's busy, I don't want you to, okay, now I'm not going to text him for another 3 hours. No. Text him whenever you feel like texting him, because it's normal. Maybe you are not as busy as him. Maybe tomorrow you're going to be busier than the other person. So it's normal. But don't go into these extremes like, okay, my boss doesn't care about me, so I don't care about him. That you cannot do that at the workplace, you know? If something bothers you and it is a pattern which we talked about and it's urgent and it's going to matter in 3 days, talk about it, take action. If it's not going to matter, if it's just a moment, he has never done this before, then just let it go. Be unbothered. And my bonus tip. Are you ready? Are you ready? When something happens and you have the pause gap, I want you to think about what factually happened. Okay, not I was not enough today, so my boss didn't reply. That's not fact. The fact is that my boss didn't send me the paper that he was supposed to send today. Think about it. On a 10 scale, how important this thing is for you. For example, you have the paper tomorrow and it's really important. So on a 10 scale, it's probably like a 9 or an 8. If it's above 6, talk about it. If it's below 6, let it go. I can tell you other examples. For example, you didn't get the job. How important the job was for you? Was it really important? So 7, 8. Try to look for the exact same job at a different company, because then you cannot let it go. Was it something you didn't even like, but you were so desperate to apply because you've been applying for months and you still didn't get anything? Let it go. If you cannot change it, because this is something where I struggle a lot with, for example, when something is really important to me, but I cannot change it, then it's, for example, like I'm going to tell you an example. You found your dream house and you've gone on visits, you've already planned like how you're going to decorate it, and last minute somebody made a higher bid and they got the house. So of course that's something that, you know, it happened, it was important to you, like 10 out of 10 probably, because you really wanted that house, but you didn't get it. What would you do in that sense? In that sense, I want you to go back to focusing on, firstly, being confident. Yes, this was your dream house. Yes, you really wanted it, but you didn't get it. You cannot change it. Okay, I'm sorry. This is insanely hard. And acceptance is something where I'm going to be talking about in another video in the upcoming weeks. How do you accept things that just, you know, didn't happen, but you really wanted them to happen? Firstly, you have to practice acceptance. Secondly, you have to realize that it's not the end of the world and there will be other houses. Thirdly, you have to realize that once one door closes, another opens. And yes, at the moment, you don't think that the new door is going to be good, but it's going to be better. It's going to be better. So I really want you to think about it, that yes, the new door is going to be better. And lastly, it's not going to matter in 3 years, because in 3 years, you will probably find another house, right? So really, yes, it is important. Yes, it hurts, but you have to accept it. You have to realize that your life is not over. There's going to be another house, and in 3 years, you will probably already be living in that house, and that's going to be amazing. This was my last bonus tip. Oh my gosh, this video is very long, but I was really enjoying making this video. I really hope I could help you stay unbothered and enjoy life. If you like this video, don't forget to like it and give me a subscribe so you won't miss out on more coffee chats. I'm gonna see you guys next Sunday. Have an amazing week. Stay unbothered, and I will see you guys next Sunday. Bye bye.